Hello and welcome. My name is Monika Polemicos. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist. And today I'm going to be sharing with you part one of a 5-part Better Mental Health series. Now, why do we need to have this discussion in this day and age? Well, it's a very, very important discussion because at the time of filming this, we are in the midst of a very crazy time. We're in the midst of a crisis. And this crisis, this pandemic will have ripple effects in terms of our economic our economic state, but more so, it's going to have an impact on our mental health and our ability to recover from this crisis, from this global crisis. So through this series, I'll be sharing with you 5 tried and tested and also researched methods to enhance your mental health, and so that you can feel, for lack of a better word, empowered over your own life, over your own coping strategies, and also so that you can, amidst this chaos, can still find time to have some fun, to feel settled within yourself, within your own family, and also to feel connected with your community as well. And obviously there are many other benefits to supporting your mental health, so that you can move forward and move towards those things that you want to have, the type of person that you want to be, and engage in a way that is fulfilling for you. So the very first thing to establish mental health that we're going to look at in this part one is this idea and this concept of routine, right? So a routine, and to actually have a plan for a routine, is really what it is laying out ahead of time the things that you're going to do in advance. So a routine could be a daily routine. It could be a weekly routine. It could be laying out some fundamental trips and activities throughout the year. Whatever you feel is appropriate to in terms of planning ahead is a really great start. So to actually plan out and to have a routine, this has a really big impact on your mental health, and I'll tell you why. When you create a routine, and let's say you try and focus on building a day-to-day routine, right, where you take the day and you have some key things in that day that you do every single day. Okay, what ends up happening is that when you create a routine and you do things in a repetitive fashion, your body and your mind become accustomed to doing that thing. Okay, to the point where when you don't do that thing, you kind of feel a little bit weird, right? So if you think about anyone who has really enjoyed going to the gym every single day, and then suddenly they can't exercise in the gym anymore, and they suddenly start feeling really weird, and they maybe start feeling jittery or have all this kind of energy pent up that needs to be worked out. And so and that is because they've developed this routine that has become their new normal, right? And not doing that routine anymore has created this kind of abnormal situation in their life, right? So if we want to create better mental health, we need to create a level of normalcy that is normal to us, right, as individuals. And we do that by repetition and scheduling things in a routine. And so what ends up happening is that when you schedule and when you have a routine that you do and you follow every day, then your subconscious, well, also your conscious mind too, there's an interpretation in that routine of safety, right? Because If you think about it, what you did yesterday, yeah, kept you alive for another day. This is on a very primitive level, okay? But just stick with me for a second. What you did yesterday kept you alive. And so if we look at the reptilian brain, which is responsible for all those instinct kind of knee-jerk reactions, is responsive and really is that survival part of the brain that keeps you alive, okay? There's an activation there, and it's like, well, if doing 5 push-ups yesterday and 3 bowls of soup kept me alive, well, then that's what I'm going to do today. All right. And this also explains too why some people also have these habits and relationships too that aren't so healthy. Okay, there's this kind of underlying, if this has kept me alive yesterday, well then I'll keep doing it because it's going to keep me alive today too. It's kind of like better the devil you know. But today we're talking about positive mental health and building positive mental health. So in order to create this level of safety and security and normalcy, a routine really is essential. So this doesn't mean that you have to scheduling every single 15 minutes or so, but for you, I encourage you to look at, well, what are those things that are good for me, are good for others, and perhaps good for the greater good, that could go into your routine that can help with this identifying those key kind of safety and normalcy quota for the day. So it could be that every morning you wake up and you have a green smoothie and that's your thing, right? Or it could be that in the afternoon you do some stretching or some yoga or what have you. And I'll really leave that up to you. So looking at things like what you eat, how you exercise, implementing things like perhaps even meditation, where you have a part of the day where it's just quiet, and when you can really kind of focus on nothing at all. So it's creating these habits and routines throughout the day, showering at the same time of the day, that kind of thing, and sticking to that structure, waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, that creates safety, that creates certainty, that creates this idea of everything's normal, everything's okay. I know what to expect today. So on the other side of that, when things are a little bit out of whack, when you don't have a routine, unfortunately what can happen is that you can begin to wonder and worry about what's coming up next, and have those kinds of feelings of, oh my goodness, what have I forgotten? Yeah, what do I need to do now? I'm not sure. I feel kind of all just kind of displaced and not sure of myself, and not really knowing what to do. So there can be a sense of this void, yeah, and we can be tempted to fill that void with all sorts of unresourceful things, yeah, habits and behaviors that aren't resourceful, like drinking, like smoking, like overconsumption of food or sugar, or this is where kind of addictions come into play, and those unresourceful those unresourceful behaviors. So really that first step, and I encourage you to really look at getting a diary, or even using one of the online diaries. Pretty much every single phone these days will have an app for a diary, some sort of calendar or schedule, and just putting some things in there that that you can start with, that you can do every day. So like having breakfast at the same time, and so on and so forth. So have a go, and let me know how you go. And I trust that this has been valuable to you. So just encouraging you to get a routine happening, right? So that's all from me. Bye for now.